welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel, the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Happy Thursday, everyone. For today's video, I have a couple more thrift flips for you. The first one is very Christmassy, and the second one is definitely something I think you could leave up all year long. I love how both of them came out. I really hope you guys do too. And without further ado, let's get to today's projects. My first project for today is a pretty simple makeover of these two metal deer I picked up probably around a year ago. I knew I didn't want to try to hand paint all of the metal detailing around their necks, and since I couldn't remove it, it was welded on, I decided that spray paint would be my friend for these. So I am just going in on both of these guys with a good coat of Rustoleum matte black and just making sure to get into all of the nooks and crannies that I can reach with the spray paint. These poor deer were pretty beat up. They had a lot of scratches on them. The metal detailing around their necks used to be red and green, but it was so faded in places that you couldn't hardly even tell what color it used to be. And when I bought them, their ears were folded down at their sides, and I straightened them up as best I could. They were really kind of a wreck, honestly, when I got them. So I am just trying to do my best to save these guys from the garbage by giving them a little bit of an overhaul. I decided I needed to bring out some of the detail around their neck. As you can see, there's a lot of little swirly metal pieces that keep everything together, and those are what I really wasn't interested in trying to hand paint. So I am just going over the big parts of the detail with some of DIY's gold liquid patina. The challenging part was just trying to keep the liquid patina on the pieces that I wanted to paint gold and not get it anywhere else. There were a few places that I had to try to strategically get my little brush into to get the paint, and I have to admit I did get it onto the little black swirly bits in a couple of places, but I really don't think that it's something that's super noticeable. I went over the gold portions with 2 coats of the golden liquid patina, and then these little reindeer were finished. I absolutely love the way that they came together. I love the look of black and gold for Christmas, and I am just grateful that I was able to salvage these cute little deer. I hope you like them as much as I do. My second project for today is definitely a trash to treasure. My husband had these cabinet doors ready to go into the trash when we were moving, and I pulled them out of the trash pile and put them in the keep pile, and we brought them down here to the cottage, and they've been sitting outside ever since. I knew I wanted to do something fun with them, but I really didn't know what that was. And then when the new Redesign with Prima release came out, I decided that the new decoupage paper would be perfect on one of these doors. So I started by rinsing it in my sink really, really well, wiping it down, and now I'm just removing all of the hardware and this little strip that was, I suppose, to keep the cabinet doors together at one point. This red paint was so goopy over the hinges that I ended up having to use my screwdriver and a hammer just to break through the paint so that I could get to the screws to get them out. Once I finally had all of the hardware taken off, I went ahead and took my door outside and began sanding everything smooth. The areas where the hinges were had stiff paint sticking up all around them, so I had to sand that really well. Also, the strip along the back where that little wooden strip was. And once I had that all smooth, I flipped it back over and I sanded completely down to the wood on the two panels where I was going to be putting the decoupage paper. Then it was back inside where I rinsed it again in my sink and then used some shop towels to dry it up really well before I began the next steps. As I previously mentioned, I am going to be putting decoupage paper over the front panels in this door, and the decoupage paper has some red in it. So my goal is to have some of the red shining through my paint color. And since I'm going to be using Sweet Pickins milk paint, I'm starting with a coat of DIY's Salvation Solution in clear, hoping that that will help create some crackle in my milk paint. I did also go over the wood in the door panels just to help seal those as well. And once that was completely dry, I'm going in with my color. This is called Lantern. It's a beautiful black by Sweet Pickins. Now, since I am hoping for some crackle and a little bit of chippy wouldn't hurt my feelings either, I did not add any extra bond to my paints. I'm trying to be careful not to paint over the wood door panels, and once I have a coat of paint down, I'm going over it with my hairdryer to add a little bit of heat to try to help accelerate any crackling that's going to happen. In the end, I did get some crackling on my door, but it was kind of small and in most places really hard to see unless you were really close to the door. So I decided to go ahead and do some distressing. So I took it outside and I'm going over it with 220 grit sandpaper, smoothing out the paint as I go, and then just really concentrating on the details to bring some of that red color up through the black. Once I was finished sanding, I brought it back inside and wiped it down really well with a damp shop towel. This not only removed all the sanding dust, it also helped me see where that red paint was shining through. And while I was at it, I did a little bit of wet distressing as well. Next up, it was time to get my door panels ready for some decoupage paper. So I am painting them with DIY's Cottage color called White Linen so that I have a nice crisp white background for my decoupage paper, which will really help my images stand out well. The reason I choose the Cottage color to go under my decoupage paper is that it has a built-in sealer, so once it's dry, I don't have to worry about reactivating it with my medium and having any of that white paint leach up into my paper. This gorgeous new paper by Redesign with Prima is called the Velvet Nest. I decided not to put the bird on this door. I really didn't like the fact that it would have to cut off some of its tail to fit. So I chose the other end of the paper and I cut off the piece that I needed. And then as you can see here, I am steaming out the wrinkle before I lay my paper down. Then it was just a matter of cutting my piece into the sizes that I needed for my door panels, and I could begin the decoupaging process. For my medium, I am using DIY's clear liquid patina, and I am just putting down a good coat right over the door panel in a small strip at the very top. And once I have that smoothed out, I'm just laying the paper over the top of it, smoothing it down into that medium with my hand, and then I'm beginning to decoupage the rest of the piece of paper down. I just keep adding a little bit of medium to the door panel, and then I smooth out the paper over that medium with my brush and another coat of the liquid patina. And of course, I'm just working my way down the door panel a little section at a time. I completed the same process on the top section of the door, and once that was finished, I laid my door aside so that my medium could dry completely before I came back in with some sandpaper to remove the excess. As you can see here, I'm very gently, slowly going along the side of the door panel, just sanding off the excess paper. Normally, I would use more of a downward sweeping motion for this, but in closed quarters, I had to just be very careful and sand slowly while I held the paper in place to make sure that I didn't accidentally rip anything or make any tears in the paper. It was definitely a little slower process this way, but I just took my time and went around all the edges very carefully until I had all of that excess paper removed. Once I finished sanding all the excess paper off, there were a few spots where the white was really showing. So I took a tiny brush and some more of the lantern paint and just went around the edges to cover up any of that white that was showing. And before I could move on, I needed to address the very ugly back of my door. So I mixed up some more lantern paint and went ahead and put 2 coats of the lantern over the back of this door as well. Once I was finished painting and my paint was finally completely dry, it was time to seal my door. And for this, I am going in first with a coat of DIY's clear wax. You can see here as I'm going over this door, what a huge difference the wax makes in that paint. Just really brings out that true black, cleans it up and deepens that color. It just makes it shine, I think. So I'm just brushing that on with my soft bristle brush all over the door, front and back, and then wiping off the excess with a dry shop towel as I go. I do go over the paper as well. I find this really softens the finish over the paper and helps the fibers in it lay down. Next up, I'm going over my clear wax with a coat of DIY's dark wax. This will help really richen up the black color, give it a little bit of age and patina, and also help to tone down the red just a touch. I'm just applying it as usual and wiping back the excess with a dry shop towel. And I also added a little bit of that dark wax around the edges of my decoupage paper. Now, originally, I had planned on going over some of the details in this door with some gold decor wax, but in the end, I decided to add some gold hardware to my door instead. For the hardware, I'm going to be adding back the original handle and some hinges along the outside, as well as a piece of metal decor down the center of the larger panel and some knobs. And I did end up running into a little snag with the knobs. So I wasn't able to attach the one into the small upper panel quite yet, but I did get the rest of everything painted and attached. I just didn't get any footage of it. And I also added some hooks to the bottom for a little functionality. In the end, I absolutely love how everything on this door came together, and I really hope you guys like it as much as I do. From here for today, you guys. I hope you liked my projects and I hope you enjoyed today's video. What did you think of the cabinet door makeover? That was a fun project, and it was literally a trash to treasure because my husband had a stack of those cabinet doors in the garbage ready to go, and I pulled them out of the trash so that I could use them for something. I had no idea at that point what I was going to do with them, but I knew I could do something. I've got 3 more left out there that I will be making over in the future as well. Anyway, I hope you guys like how it turned out, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and then just hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then don't forget to drop a comment below and let me know what you thought of today's projects. Just a quick reminder, I do carry a full range of DIY paint and products here in my shop and on my website at www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. I carry DIY paint and products as well as Sweet Pickins milk paint and products, some recycled treasures, decoupage papers, and of course some redesign with Prima. So go check those out there. For Saturday's video, I believe it's Saturday that will be the next video coming up. No, it'll be Sunday. So for Sunday's video, I will more than likely have some more thrift flips for you guys, although I am working diligently behind the scenes trying to get a dresser done. And so at some point that will actually be finished and be a furniture flip to show you. So fingers crossed someday it will be finished. Anyway, whatever the video is, I hope you'll join me back here for that on Sunday morning. Until then, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and beginning of the weekend. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate it, and I will see you guys on Sunday morning. Bye.